Today on Filmmaker Friday, we're going to be talking about music in your videos. What's up, everybody? My name's Jason Osterkamp from Night Owls Media and For Love Films, and today we're going to be talking about music for your films. Now, this is a very long, broad range of topics under this one topic, so I am going to be doing multiple videos on this in the future, and today we're just going to be skimming the surface, but I really think this is one of the topics of questions that I see happening all the time on our wedding videographer forums about where to get music, why should I have it licensed, can I use copywritten music, why can't I use copywritten music, all these questions I see all the time, and I love some of the community who reaches out and say, you know, I'm gonna help you through this, because if you haven't been in our business very long, there's a lot to know, and there's a lot of legal situations. The RIAA is the Recording Industry Association of America. Under them are all the different record companies. Now, I can go into a ton of technical jargon, which I just did and I cut out because I think it's a little too much for this video. Basically, if you're going to put music in your video, you have to legally license that song. All right, that's it. Have a great day. I'm kidding. Now, I'm not a lawyer. I want to preface this just like everybody else does, but I want to tell you what I've learned over the years, from the classes I've took to the actual work that I've done and the 12 years of working in wedding films. Of all the stuff I've learned, I want to help you. Number one, if you are going to use music in your videos, license that music. Just going to iTunes and paying the 99 cents or $1.99, whatever it is now, unfortunately, that's not licensed. That just allows you to have a copy of the song. That does not protect you under any kind of law or allow you to use that for creative means. If you are a business, this is part of your overhead that you should be charging for in your packages. Being able to provide music in your films, it's enhancing your film, therefore you are using it for business, whether it's paid for or not. If a client is paying you to create a film, you are using licensed music, they are paying for that license. Now, if a client is not paying you for a film, but you're still making a film to help promote your business or just a freebie here for weddings and things like that, that doesn't mean you can skirt by. It means you still have to license that song. Now, something a lot of people I don't think really understand is that each video has to have a license. If you license one song for, let's say, 60 bucks, you cannot use that song on another video. That song license belongs to that one video. If you're going to make an alternate cut or change something drastically about that video and post it again somewhere else, that song needs to be relicensed. Now, the first thing that comes to mind when talking about music licensing is how to deal with your couples. When I first started, a lot of my couples wanted to pick the music in their wedding film, and unfortunately, most of that music cannot be licensed. The good thing about being in this industry is that the longer you're in it, the less couples are going to ask you to put their choice of music in. It's actually extremely rare we ever get a couple inquire about this, because they've watched our films, they know the quality that we're creating, and they want that same quality. But starting off, I had to make the realization that using someone's music without paying for that copyright is illegal. Not only is it illegal, it's kind of a dick move. If you don't license a song, you're literally taking someone else's creative IP and using it for your benefit. This would be like a musician finding your video and using your video as their music video to sell their album or sell concerts or whatever, and not giving you the credit or rights or money that you rightfully deserve for creating that. So, how do you talk to your couples about this? Again, this is what I do, so take this with a grain of salt. You might want to change things up. What I say is, to be able to create your film, I need to legally license music, and that music needs to come from a certain number of sites that I belong to. Now, this does not mean your music is going to sound like someone in a basement just tooling away on a Casio keyboard. The music I use is very beautiful and really timeless. Finding music that actually fits their story. I had one couple years ago that when I sat down with them at our very first meeting, they came with so much energy. They said, we're gonna be partying the whole day. We're just gonna be screaming and dancing from prep to creative session to the ceremony. We'll be dancing down the aisle of the ceremony, and then the reception is gonna be explosive. It's gonna be hard EDM all day. So they wanted really hard dance music to be their film. Now, come the day of, the bride got incredibly nervous to the point where I was not allowed in the room, or anybody else besides the maid of honor was allowed in the room while she was getting ready. So we got no footage of her getting dressed. She was super nervous going up to the ceremony. And as soon as they got down the aisle and saw each other, you saw all that stress just evaporate. And the rest of the day was very lighthearted. It never got to that party element until about 9:30 that night at the reception. But you saw this love for each other, and that music would not have fit that story. So what I do is after a wedding day, I sit down and I find the emotional beats of the day. I look through all the footage and I find what makes this story unique to this couple and how can I enhance that with music. Then I go through the music sites I'm a subscriber to and I find the music that I think best fits each part of that day. Usually I download probably 15 to 20 sample tracks and I throw them in the editor because when I'm looking at the image and I'm remembering the wedding day and then I'm looking for music, I'll find all these tracks. I'm like, oh, this would fit great for their creative session. Oh, this would fit amazing for their ceremony. And then I get it in the section and I just do a quick scrub over the music and I let it play with the images of the ceremony and it doesn't fit at all. So that's why I usually have 3 or 4 different tracks per section of the film that I'm crafting. And that is to find the best song to fit their story or to fit the story that I'm trying to tell. And this is exactly what I tell my couples. It's not a lie, it's not overblowing, it's not trying to glaze over why you should or should not do something. It's the real reason is I will find the music that best fits your story and best fits you. Is I'll talk to my couples and say, hey, what kind of music do you not like? Or if you had to make a playlist, what's on your top 10 favorite songs? And then I get a feel for what kind of music they do like, and I try to fit something within that genre. Also, by finding out what they don't like, let's say they have a real country day out in the fields, it's beautiful, the sun's coming out, their ceremony's in a barn, but they hate country music. Well, just based on the visuals alone, I would have loved some acoustic guitar, maybe some twang in there of some country music, because I think it would be visually appropriate to match with that audio. But if they don't like that, I'm going to craft something specifically for them. When you are downloading from these licensing sites, make sure you do 2 things. 1, download that PDF license file. Yes, you can always go back to the website and download the PDF later if you need it, but in my ADD-ridden mind, things get lost. I get what web service did I use, because at some point I was using like 5 different websites, and having an actual digital copy in your archives is very important. Also, when you're downloading your music track, choose the WAV file over the MP3. Yes, it's probably about 5 times the size, if not 10 times the size, but the quality is far superior. And it's always important to start with the best quality you can in your edit before you export. Now, really quick, I want to talk briefly about social media music tracking algorithms. Now, this is what happens when you put a song up and you get that lovely email that says you have a copyright violation, and you have to go in and fight for your right that you do own that license and you can use it. Now, this is not YouTube trying to smack you down and say you're a bad filmmaker and a bad person for illegally doing this. This is a computer program in their software that just searches every video, trying to limit people from illegally using music Or they're trying to garnish money from these companies so you can use that song and you'll never see a dime from it. Does not excuse the fact that you should still be legally licensing your music. So if you do get hit with one of these YouTube copyright claims, it's a very easy process. Click the copyright claim, walk through the steps, and it'll ask you, why do you think you should be able to use this, and just explain your situation. I have legally purchased the license for this song to use in a film. That's easy, because that's what it is. You can also put in there, said, I am happy to send you along the PDF copy of the license for your records if need be. I've only ever had one copyright claim that was denied 3 times, and unfortunately, I contacted the licensing subscriber service I was using, and they never wrote back to me, which caused me to no longer use that service. But since then, I've never had an issue. Every time I've ever had a copyright claim, I just go in, I explain that I own the license, and I can go back to doing what I'm doing. I know it completely shakes you out of your day and it makes you feel like a bad artist or a bad filmmaker when you get that copyright claim, but it's okay. We've all hit it. It's just the algorithm doing its job. Now, some people say, well, what if you put it as unlisted or private? It doesn't matter. It's still on their service. And it doesn't matter if you put it on Vimeo, because Vimeo is password protected and the people can't see it. As an artist, as a business, it is your job. It is part of your job to legally license music to the video you are creating. Now, again, I'm not a lawyer, but there's avenues to go down this with cover songs, or what if someone's performing it live? There's a ton of different variations to this that I would love to talk about with a music copyright lawyer at some point, but right now I just want to go over the finer elements of licensing your music. Weddings, vlogs, social media elements are one thing that most of these subscription companies are totally apt and helpful with doing. But once you go up to a corporate level and you have certain numbers of employees of the corporation, that's when you're running into a much different pricing structure. Now, to give you an example of this, we've been able to work with an international car company and making a lot of their online social media videos and commercials and things. And when we were looking into using a very specific song from a very specific licensing company, we were told that since the company was so large and had so many employees, the song was not going to cost the normal $60 to use, but instead it was going to cost $800. $800 for that one video. And if I wanted to create a teaser or a social media cut down of that video, I would have to license that song again because it is 2 separate videos. And this is why when clients come to you and ask you for your pricing corporate stuff is a lot different than wedding stuff, because corporate depends on a lot more aspects. And we will get into that in another video, which I am super excited to be making right now. Not right now, obviously, because, soon. Now, all the music we use for these vlogs, you can find the link down in the description. I love these guys. They have a great selection of music. But again, it all depends on your style. That's the other thing, is a lot of people say, where do you get your music from? Well, I love these guys right here, but they're for different projects. And really, this gives me a nice wide variety of music so that I can craft something for my couples, for my corporations, anything I need. This allows me that needed content. Now, I know this video is kind of long. There's a lot I wanted to go over. There's a lot I didn't get to touch on, but I will in the future. If you like this series, if you like what I'm putting out there, please like and subscribe and share. And the more subscriptions I get, the more I know I'm doing a good job in offering something of value. Make sure to come back every Friday for Filmmaker Friday, where I discuss things that I have learned over the years, either through business itself or from film school or from working on films in general. I want to help you guys build your own career and be a better filmmaker. Make sure you check out our how-to series, and the how-to series walks through things like what kind of lenses I use on a wedding day to how do I get that awesome reception sound at a wedding. And most importantly, I would love to figure out what you want to learn about. So make sure you comment down in the comments about what aspects you want me to cover. Now, I have a laundry list of things that I want to talk about, but if there's something super pressing and everyone's on board to wanting to learn, I am all about jumping the shark and getting right to that. Jumping the shark, not the right metaphor. but fun to say. Join us every Wednesday for Wedding Wednesdays, where I talk to couples about wedding videography, and Filmmaker Fridays, where I talk to you guys, and Small Business Sundays, where I talk to small businesses and how they can use video to better their business. Thank you guys so much again. Remember, it's not the hammer that builds the table, it's the carpenter wielding the hammer. So be better, do something awesome today. Comment down in the comments about something awesome that you're doing. I want to know about it. Thank you so much and have an awesome day.